I see it's now 3 o'clock, so I'll call the Board of Trustees of the Greater Dayton RTA meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Robert, will you please take the roll?
Mr. Hoagie?
Here.
Ms. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Corrado? Ms. Hairston?
Here.
Ms. Howard?
Present.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Here.
Mr. Williamson?
Here. Thank you, Robert. The first item on the agenda is the approval of our agenda, and that's been mailed to everyone in advance. Are there any additions or corrections to that agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
I move we approve the agenda as submitted. Second.
Okay, it's been approved and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Agenda is approved. Also, as has been our custom, we have mailed the minutes of the Board of Trustees to each board member prior to today's meeting. Unless a board member requests a reading of those minutes, I ask, are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing no requests for the reading of those minutes or no recommended corrections or additions, let the record show that these minutes have been approved as submitted. We now get to the committee reports. The first is our Finance and Personnel Committee. Ms. Hairston.
The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on March 22nd, and as a result, the Finance Personnel Committee is recommending 3 action items for the board's consideration. Action item number 2, bus stop shelters. The purpose of this procurement is to contract with the bus shelter manufacturer for the purchase of bus stop shelters with solar lighting, signs, and bike racks for the Greater Dayton RTA's downtown shelter project. The purchase will fund a total of 13 of the smaller shelters and 6 of the larger shelters, including the matching benches, bike racks, and custom panels for each. In addition, it covers the purchase of 29 of the wayfinding signs. These signs will be located mainly at stops that do not warrant a full bus shelter. Mr. Bob Brzezinski and Mr. John Hoff presented this action item and the associated details at our committee meeting. The supporting information is included in today's board package. Bob is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Based upon the recommendation of the Finance Personnel Committee, I move to award a contract to Brasco International for the bus stop shelters and solar lighting, signs, and bike racks for a cost of $114,010 plus optional year 1 at a cost of $80,520 and option year 2 at a cost of $54,330 for a grand total award of $248,860. This procurement will be funded 80% through federal grant funds.
Motion made by Ms. Hairston. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Ms. Hurd. Are there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstentions? Action item number 2 is unanimously approved.
Action item number 3, resolution number 2016-4-2, revised fiscal year 2016 annual appropriations. Trustees' approval of resolution number 2016-4-2 allows for revision of the 2016 annual appropriation amounts. This is the result of the board's recent update and changes to Board of Trustee Policy number 26, designation of unrestricted net position, formerly titled Earmarking of Investment Equity Funds. As a point of clarification, at our committee meeting, the capital projects amount was reported at $26,701,005. That amount has been changed to $24,401,005 $487,328. The new amount represents funds available to report as reported in RTA's year-end 2015 unrestricted net position. Ms. Stanford provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Robert Thomas, RTA Controller, is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Based upon the recommendation of the Finance Personnel Committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution Number 2016-4-2, revised fiscal year 2016 annual appropriations.
Motion made by Ms. Hairston. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Ms. Howard. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Are there any abstentions? Action item number 4 is unanimously approved.
That was action item number 3.
Number 3, I'm sorry.
Action item number 4, resolution number 2016-4-1, fiscal year 2016, 49 United States Code 5307, 5337, and 5339, capital assistance grants. 49 U.S. State Code 5307 authorizes grants to public transit systems in urbanized areas for capital, operating, and planning assistance based on formulas used in the statute. 49 U.S.C. 5337 and 5339 authorizes grants to public transit systems in urbanized areas for capital assistance to support and maintain fixed guideway assets, 5337, and other capital assets in a state of good repair, 5339. The Greater Dayton RTA can use this funding for the purchase of electrical trolley buses, modernization of trolley infrastructure, the capitalization of maintenance costs, and other supporting facilities and equipment projects, as well as to maintain capital assets in a state of good repair. This resolution authorizes staff to file fiscal year 2016 USC 5307, 5337, and 5339 capital assistance applications. The 2016 program of projects is consistent with RTA's capital plan. The total federal funding required for these projects is $40,438,704. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's board package. Bob is available to answer any questions the board may have at this time. Based upon the recommendation of the Finance Personnel Committee, I move to approve Resolution Number 2016-4-1, authorizing the filing of 49 United States Code 5307, 5337, and 5339 capital grant applications for the RTA fiscal year 2016 program of projects with the Federal Transit Administration. Furthermore, that motion authorizes the Chief Executive Officer to provide all necessary documents, execute a grant contract, amend the grant contract if deemed necessary, and fulfill all other requirements of the application.
Motion made by Ms. Hairston. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lumpkin. Are there any additional questions or comments?
Appreciate that. Are you going to repeat the motion before we vote?
Excuse me? Would you like the motion repeated?
No, there's no need for that, I don't think. No additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Any abstention? Action item number 4 is unanimously approved.
That concludes my action items. However, for discussion, I am happy to report that the December 2015 state sales tax receipts total $4.15 million compared to December 2014 receipts of $4.01 million. This represents an increase of $134,000 or 3.3%. Cumulative receipts for calendar year 2015 totaled $39.43 million. This compares to calendar year 2014 receipts of $37.79 million. For the year, this represents an increase of $1.64 million, or 4.3%. Fiscal year 2015 financial statements. As I stated in the March board meeting, the audit of the 2015 financial statements is currently in progress. The statements will be finalized in the near future, with a thorough report expected at our May jointly held committee meeting. Things have gone smoothly thus far, with the final report issuance hinging on the Auditor of State's schedule. And the February 2016 financial statements have been included in today's board package. The operating results thus far are very close to budget. And, Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Hairston. I'd just like to clarify, normally in the past, the financial statements were issued a month earlier than now anticipated. You're probably always also aware that our audits are done under the auspices of the state auditors. The state auditors are getting new instructions on how to audit federal contracts, and as a result, they will not be able to come in and do that review until May, and therefore the financial statements approval and a review will not be done until the May timeframe. So it's a month later than it normally appears, not because there are difficulties at the RTA, but because, as I mentioned, there are new procedures that the state auditors have to follow, and they're waiting for their instructions of how to proceed accordingly. So are there any other comments that have to be made? Hearing none, that wraps up the Finance and Personnel Committee reports. We now go to the Planning Committee. Ms. Jones.
Thank you. As stated earlier, the Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on March 22nd. And while we do not have any action items to bring before you, we do have some important updates to provide. Mr. Donahue and Mr. Eckler provided a presentation regarding a proposed RTA downtown circulator route. This route concept is an outgrowth of RTA's role in the development of the downtown Dayton plan. This route would support new commercial and residential development in Dayton's core area. As part of the planning process, RTA staff has been working with the City of Dayton, the Downtown Dayton Partnership, and other community partners to address the most effective manner in providing this service. RTA Board Committee members agree that Mr. Donahue and the staff should continue to work with community partners in the development and implementation of this route, contingent on sponsorship commitments to help support the operation of this service. Also, Mr. Chris Cole of the RTA Maintenance Department provided an update on the progress of the RTA Next Gen project, along with the team members Josh Sharp, John Huff, and Tom Bowman. Each provided details on the progress of the prototype vehicles. There are still some problem areas to address, but overall, the progress has been very positive so far, and efforts continue to keep the project in line with expected timeliness. In addition, Mr. Eckler provided a summary document of activities and events of the Planning and Marketing Department. This included information with RTA's recruitment advertising campaign, upcoming How to Ride travel training sessions, and a summary of recent social media contacts. And this concludes my report. If there are any questions, Mr. Eckler and I would be happy to answer them.
Hearing no questions or reports, thank you, Ms. Jones. We'll move on then to agenda item number 7, our CEO's report. Mark?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple informational items. In the past few weeks, we began installations over on the Longworth campus of the video systems and associated equipment that you authorized some time back on the fleet. So that process is underway. You may have also seen some buses out on the street that look slightly different than the others out there. We're very pleased that our 1600 series, which are the 24 new diesel buses we received recently, are finding their way out onto the streets as they hit their final test in the maintenance department. And they're looking good out there. We're getting some good reviews on those already. So that's great, and that'll help provide some relief and maybe get some of those older non-green buses finally migrating to the reserve fleet at least, and eventually to the auction block. So that's a good thing. It's a good start there. We received some more good news in the wellness area, and it just seems to keep coming. The Fitbit Corporation itself has shown great interest in our wellness program. Our numbers, even in terms of usage of the devices here and all of that, caught their attention, and they've asked us to be part of a national dialogue over a couple days in June. So Julie and I will be presenting jointly at a conference related. It's really sponsored by Fitbit. It's their conference, and they're going to have health and wellness people from across the country. I'm there obviously to talk about the business part, and it'll be interesting. But again, the program has done wonders for us, and it's nice that it's getting this attention. But, we did it really for the internal results. I would call Gene Rhodes the father of the program, perhaps, because it was his idea to begin with to push this. But it really is getting some good attention, and Julie just keeps, ramping it up to new levels, and that's a good thing. It's what we need, so we're really happy about that. Just as an FYI, we got a request, and at 2 o'clock I did an interview with Channel 2 regarding the next-gen buses. This reporter was new to the next-gen project, so it's pretty much general in nature. There wasn't anything you hadn't already heard, but just in case you hear about it, that may be on the news this evening. Last item, I just want to thank the board for accommodating my recent conflict with the May Joint Committees meeting. It looks like we have a deal to move it to the 19th, and I really appreciate that. And I'll try not to interrupt the fixed schedule anymore this year if I can help it at all. So thank you very much. Unless there are questions, that's all I have.
Are there any other questions of Mark? Thank you, Mark. And congratulations on the success of the health program and the very positive impact that it has had on our health insurance costs. And so everybody's a winner in this project. So thank you, Gene, for bringing it to our attention and driving it. And thank you to the leaders of this program and for all of people participating so wonderfully. Thank you. Janet, I believe you had something to say.
I just wanted to go back to my report. I think I pronounced the project incorrectly. It's the proposed RTA downtown circulator route. I did not pronounce that correctly, so for the record.
Duly noted. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think I said circulator or whatever.
Is there any old business to come before the board? Hearing nothing. Mark, you had nothing regarding our old business?
I do not.
Okay. Is there any new business to come before the board? We now get to our public comments, and I recognize the names, but I think it's important, again, that we just reinforce the ground rules, that we have 3 minutes to make our presentation. Number one. Number two, you certainly speak on your own behalf and not on someone else's behalf. And I ask you to direct all your comments to the full board and not to any one individual management member. With that, the first one that I have here is Ms. Smothers. They're bringing you the microphone.
My name is Sandra May Smothers. I'm a resident of Montgomery County. I live at 215 McDaniel Street, apartment 107, Dayton, Ohio. What I'm here to speak about today is these chairs that you guys would like to put on the Project Mobility Bus. And I think I brought this up a couple months ago at the meeting. These are shower chairs, and they're dangerous. Even when you get on that ramp out there and go up on it, it's shaking with a walker and a wheelchair, because I can sit in my window and look at them when the buses pull up. This is ridiculous. If you're going to say we need safety, as it says on this paper, if you're concerned about our safety, these are not safe. These are unsafe chairs because they have an adjustment on them. I have one in my bathtub, so I know what they do. So this is a bad idea, but it's up to y'all. Y'all want to waste money on it, okay. but it's a bad idea. That's all I have to say for it right now.
Ms. Mothers, we addressed that at the last board meeting, and you were not here, and it showed that it was probably one of the safest mechanisms. So your contention that it's not safe, certainly, it doesn't appear to be correct. And Mark, I don't know if you want to address some of the comments you made regarding that last time, but we did it for safety in mind, and it certainly showed to us to be most safe.
I don't see no belt on it. Where's the belt to go around it for your safety? It's not?
There is one, yes.
Okay.
There is.
Well, we'll see how.
At last month's meeting, we did address your issue that you
I
had
wasn't
brought
here
up.
last month.
Right. And you had brought it up the month before, and so we
Right.
addressed it at last month's, and we actually saw a picture of what was being used, so they actually showed the chair. The chair did have sidearms on it, it did have a back. We just feel it's easier and better to use that versus a person standing with a walker or a wheel or a cane on that lift when it goes up with no support. At least they're sitting in a chair. And it did have a belt,
I rise up on my walk.
Sturdier than a shower chair.
and it was sturdier than a shower chair is. So we did see a copy of it, and we did see it, and we did address that at the last board meeting.
And it's been addressed, Charles?
But we just don't want a person standing and being lifted up with a walker. I mean, that's just, they're on wheels, that is an accident waiting to happen. And we feel like that chair is a safer remedy for it than a person standing.
Well, and just to add to that, we have had an incident of a person falling off the lift because they were standing as it went up. We've taken a position that for safety's sake, we want the person seated. Initially, as you are most likely aware, we put wheelchairs on the buses for that purpose. And a lot of folks did not like the wheelchairs because they weren't large enough in some cases to accommodate the individual. Our operations staff investigated. We concluded this was the appropriate mechanism. It's safe. And that's all we're concerned about is the safety of our customers. So if people are going to be on that lift, we want them seated. And we just think it's that important. I'll be happy to share the information with you after the meeting if you like.
Moving on, Ms. Thompson? Over here. We'll bring you the microphone. Good.
My name is Ruby Thompson. I live at 729 West Grand Avenue, apartment 142 in Dayton, Ohio. And I've had some customers concerned if bus 43 would be able to accommodate them on the weekends to Procter & Gamble. So I'm sure they would know to contact the suggestion line for that, but I said I would bring it to your attention. And then also, I was concerned about the project mobility. You know how the buses have the bars, the big buses in the front? If perhaps in the future, if they can accommodate the seats with the bar in the back, you know, where they have the people in the wheelchairs and walkers, so when they're able to get up, they can hold on to that bar. Because a lot of the drivers, they are trying to make time, and sometimes they have a full load, and you know what I'm saying. I think it would be easier if that could happen, and their balance, you know, is coordinated, you know. So that's what I was concerned about. And I also heard the rumor about the non-smoking issue in the future. With the RTA bus stop. So those were my concerns today.
Thank you.
Ruby, maybe after the meeting you could talk to Frank about the Procter & Gamble issue. I know we recently added some additional service out there to accommodate their shift changes, but Frank would be happy to speak to you after the meeting.
That's that gentleman.
Okay. Lynetta Day? Well, we'll get the,
My name is Lynetta Day. I stay at 1465 West 3rd Street. I stay in Montgomery County. Mine is the same as Sandra's about this chair. It's not safe. 'Cause I have one in my bathroom. And I'm not gonna fall. I'm serious. I'm too big to fall. And I refuse to get on that chair. I refuse to, 'cause I'm not gonna hurt myself. I love myself too well to try to hurt myself. And I'm quite sure everybody else love themselves too well to try to get on that chair and hurt themselves and fall. That's all.
Well, again, perhaps we can talk after the meeting. I have trouble understanding how people who have mobility issues feel safer standing up and traveling up to 4 feet in the air on a lift like that sometimes can fail. And when it does, if it jolts, the person can easily lose their balance. So we're happy to discuss it with you, but again, it's your safety we're concerned about, and if you got to see the individual who fell backwards off that lift and the injuries that occurred as a result, it might change your mind. I don't know.
Thank you, Mark. Are there any board member comments?
Oh, I did want clarification on the May meeting date.
Yes.
Has it been changed to May 19th?
Mark indicated it was changed to May 19th, and I was going to make that announcement to everyone here. Okay.
That was my only
That's the
question.
committee meeting date, not the board meeting date.
The committee, yes. Yes,
It'll be 8:30 on May 19th.
that's correct, which is a Thursday. Okay. Any other board member comments? There's no need, I see, to go to executive session, so before I entertain a motion to adjourn, I'd like to say that our next board meeting is May the 10th. That's the second Tuesday. It's not the first Tuesday of the month. And just sort of a heads up, there is a chance that the July meeting, as indicated in your agenda, it may be canceled. So at the moment, it's tentative, but that July 5th meeting may be canceled. And if it is, it will be announced, publicly announced in the paper. The committee meetings, there are several taking place. There's an investment committee meeting on April 14th. That's a Thursday. And the next committee meeting of the board, the Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committee, is the last Tuesday of the month, April 26th, as compared to being the third Tuesday of the month. So it's the last Tuesday of the month, April 26th. And as just also been said, that the May 17th meeting of the committee has been moved to Thursdays, 2 days later, the 19th, to accommodate a conflict that Mark has had. And if the July 5th board meeting is canceled, there's a good chance there will not be a need to have the June 21st committee meeting. So that also will make that announcement should that take place. However, if there are things to come before the board, those meetings will stay as originally scheduled for the end of June, as well as the board for July 5th. Are there any other comments that have to be made? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
One second.
There's a second, okay. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.